Ok, vi kicker i gang. Skal vi se hva vi får ut av dette her. Dette blir spennende, det blir morsomt. Og det kommer garantert til å skje noe. Skal vi se om jeg kan sånn, ja. Ok, vi kjører i gang. Ja, la dette her avsløre sannheten.
There are two economic realities in America today. There's been a record 6 straight years of job growth, and new census numbers show incomes have increased at a record rate after years of stagnation. However, income inequality remains significant, and nearly half of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Beginning with you, Secretary Clinton, why are you a better choice than your opponent to create the kinds of jobs that will put more money into the pockets of Americans?
She's the author of this.
Well, thank you, Lester, and thanks to Hofstra for hosting us. The central question in this election is really what kind of country we want to be and what kind of future we'll build together. Today is my granddaughter's second birthday, so I think about this a lot. First, we have to build an economy that works for everyone, not just those at the top. That means we need new jobs, good jobs, with rising incomes. I want us to invest in you. I want us to invest in your future.
Oh, yeah.
That means jobs in infrastructure, in advanced manufacturing, innovation and technology, clean renewable energy, and small business, because most of the new jobs will come from small business.
We wear it on our sleeve.
We also have to make the economy
We're not hiding like MSNBC that they love her.
That starts with raising the national minimum wage.
She gives them talking points daily.
And also guarantee, finally,
ain't no talking points coming down here from anywhere.
Plus, too, she's not going to be bringing more small business jobs with her tax plan.
That's all they've been doing is targeting them. They want consolidation and control. Yeah, we're going to stop.
Not just the executives at the top. And I want us to do more to support people who are struggling to balance family and work. I've heard from so many of you about the difficult choices you face and the stresses that you're under. So let's have paid family leave, earn sick days.
Well, she's been on the loopholes of having higher taxes here than in China.
Donald, it's good to be with you.
Oh, look, she's so friendly. She's a real human.
Have a debate.
She's a sweet little grandma.
We are talking about the important issues facing our country.
She didn't run narcotics.
Judge us.
She didn't brag about killing Gaddafi when he was coming in to give up.
Responsibilities of the presidency. Who can put into action the plans that will make your life better?
Of the globalists or rapists? We were sure of that.
Earn your vote on November 8th.
Secretary Clinton,
what country is better off?
All right, here we go.
It's about putting more money into the pockets of American workers. You have up to 2 minutes.
Thank you, Lester.
We got to control ourselves.
Our jobs are fleeing the country. They're going to Mexico. They're going to many other countries. You look at what China is doing to our country in terms of making our product. They're devaluing their currency, and there's nobody in our government to fight them. And we have a very good fight, and we have a winning fight, because they're using our country as a piggy bank to rebuild China, and many other countries are doing this.
See, what Trump just did was bring in real issues. China has a 35% tariff. Trump tells the truth about China raping us. That's the cliff.
A friend of mine who builds plants said it's the 8th wonder of the world.
It's a fact.
Building some of the biggest plants.
Fact check. Total truth.
The most sophisticated.
That's the first clip. Put that out.
Plants. With the United States, as he said, not so much. So Ford is leaving. You see that, their small car division leaving.
They've sold us off.
Thousands of jobs, leaving Michigan, leaving Ohio. They're all leaving.
The raping's continuing.
Allow it to happen.
Afton got screwed us, didn't make it better.
Care is concerned, and so many other things. I think Hillary and I agree on that. We probably disagree a little bit as to numbers and amounts and what we're going to do, but perhaps we'll be talking about that later. But we have to stop our jobs from being stolen from us. We have to stop our
He's not out to screw us.
From leaving the United States.
He doesn't want to make us poor, Cloward and Piven. He just isn't out to screw us. That'll be his campaign. I'm not here to F you.
Vær litt stille nå, da, Alex.
Hug the big head.
You up with your slogan, Trump.
So many hundreds and hundreds of companies are doing this. We cannot let
Look at this man. He's so good.
Under my plan, I'll be reducing taxes tremendously, from 35% to 15% for companies, small and big businesses. That's going to be a job creator like we haven't seen since Ronald Reagan.
But I am gay.
It's going to be a beautiful thing to watch. Companies will come,
piss on the whole establishment.
They will expand, new companies will start. and I look very, very much forward to doing it. We have to renegotiate our trade deals, and we have to stop these countries.
Hillary goes and negotiates it and gets 50 million for herself. Screw it.
Klapp igjen litt, Alex. Vær så
Well, I
snill.
think that trade is an important issue.
Yes,
Of
damn
course,
trader.
we are 5% of the world's population. We have to trade with the other 95%.
She's not crooked, Hillary.
And we
She's
need to
damn
have
Hillary.
smart,
That's why you liked
fair
the
trade deals.
TPP up until
We
you decided to
also,
run for
though,
president.
need to have a tax system that rewards
She wrote the
work
thing.
and
Oh,
not
that's why
just
she's
financial
gonna
transactions.
Make it impossible
And
to
the
do
kind of
business here.
plan that Donald has put forth would be trickle-down economics all over again. In fact, it would be the most extreme version, the biggest tax cuts for the top percent of the people in this country than we've ever had. I call it trumped up trickle-down, because that's exactly what it would be. That is not how we grow the economy. We just have a different view.
Dette er en løgn, fordi hun har tenkt å føre samme politikk som Obama har ført, og se hva det har ført til.
Incomes. I think we come at it from somewhat different perspectives.
Ja, det er helt
I
klart.
understand that. You know, Donald was very fortunate in his life, and that's all to his benefit.
Class
Started
warfare.
his business with $14 million borrowed from
Man,
his
she
father.
stole hundreds of
And
millions.
he really believed.
Steals
Yeah.
Haitian refugee
The
money.
more you help
Solgte uranium one til russerne og greier.
Kids.
I don't
And then
buy
Trump's
that.
bad for building hotels.
I have
I'm
a
sorry.
different
I'm
experience.
sorry.
My father
I
was
call her
a
on that.
businessman. He
I
worked
call her on
really
class
hard. He
warfare.
printed drapery
That's class
fabrics.
warfare right there.
Long
Yeah,
tables
Obama
where he
started the
pulled
race
out
war.
the
She's gonna start a class
fabrics,
war.
and he went down with
An
a
old
silk
sexist
screen
war.
and dumped the paint
Oh,
in
yeah.
and took the squeegee and kept going. And so what I believe is the more we can do for the middle class, the more we can invest in you, your education, your skills, your future,
She's been
the
saying this
better
for
we will
30
be off
years.
and the better we'll grow. That's the kind of
Ser jo
economy
ikke
I
så
want us to see
sliten ut i
again.
dag da,
Let me
som han
follow up
pleier å
Mr.
gjøre.
Trump if I can. You've talked about creating 25 million jobs, and you've promised to bring back millions of jobs for Americans. How are we going to bring back the industries that have left this country for cheaper labor overseas? How specifically are you going to tell American manufacturers that you have to come back?
Well, for one thing, and before we start on that, my
Dette er
father
nøkkel.
gave me a very small loan in 1975, and I built it into a company that's worth many, many billions of dollars with some of the greatest assets in the world. And I say that only because that's the kind of thinking that our country needs. Our country's in deep trouble. We don't know what we're doing when it comes to devaluations, and all of these countries all over the world, especially China, they're the best ever at it. What they're doing to us is a very, very sad thing. So
Helt enig.
we have to do that. We have to renegotiate our trade deals. And Lester, they're taking our jobs, they're giving incentives, they're doing things that frankly we don't do. Let me give you the example.
Og
of
det er med
Mexico.
design.
They have a VAT tax. We're in a different system. When we sell into Mexico, there's a tax. When they sell in automatic, 16% approximately. When they sell into us, there's no tax. It's a defective
Nettopp, det er en
agreement.
tariff
It's
på
been
dere, men
defective
ikke
for
på
a
alle
long time,
andre.
many years, but the politicians haven't done anything about it. Now, in all fairness to Secretary Clinton, yes, is that okay? Good. I want you to be very happy.
look
It's
at
very
her.
important to me. But in all fairness to
Bra,
Secretary
Trump.
Clinton, when she started talking
Ikke
about this, it was
senk
really
deg til
very
hennes
recently. She's
nivå.
been doing this for 30 years. And why hasn't she made the agreements better? The NAFTA agreement is defective just because of the tax and many other reasons, but just because of the fact.
Let me interrupt just a moment. But
Secretary Clinton and others, politicians, should have been doing this for years, not right now
She
because
looked
of
pretty
the fact
genuine
that
there. I've
we've
never seen her look
created
that
a
genuine.
movement.
She looks like she has a
They
crush
should
on
have
him.
been doing this for years.
I could check her
What's
wow.
happened to our jobs and our country and our economy generally is, look, we owe $20 trillion. We cannot do it any longer, Lester.
back to the question, though, how do you specifically bring back jobs, American manufacturers? How do you make them bring the jobs back?
Well, the first thing you do is don't let the jobs leave. The companies are leaving. There are thousands of them. They're leaving, and they're leaving in bigger numbers than ever. And what you do is you say, fine, you want to go to Mexico or some other country, good luck. We wish you a lot of luck. But if you think you're going to make your air conditioners or your cars or your cookies or whatever you make and bring them into our country without a tax, you're wrong. And once you say you're going to have to tax them coming in, and our politicians never do this because they have special interests,
Yeah.
and the special interests want those companies to leave.
That's right.
Because in many cases they own the companies. So
Nettopp.
what I'm saying is we can stop them from leaving. We have to stop them from leaving, and that's a big, big factor.
Let me let Secretary Clinton
Well,
Wow.
let's
Key to
not
everything.
Det han sier der er at spesialinteressene, disse megabankene, de truer selskapene ut av landet, fordi det dem som eier dem.
In large part because of tax policies that slashed taxes on the wealthy, failed to invest in the middle class, took their eyes off of Wall Street, and created a perfect storm. In fact, Donald was one of the people who rooted for the housing crisis. He said back in 2006, gee, I hope it does collapse because then I can go in and buy some and make some money. Well, it did collapse.
That's called business, by the way.
9 million people. 9 million people lost their jobs. 5 million people lost their homes, and $13 trillion in family wealth was wiped out.
Jeg gleder meg til vi begynner å snakke om kriger, ja, Hillary.
And it has not been easy. So we're now on the precipice of having a potentially much better economy, but the last thing we need to do is to go back to the policies that failed us in the first place. Independent experts have looked at what I've proposed and looked at what Donald's proposed, and basically they've said this, that if his tax plan, which would blow up the debt by over $5 trillion and would in some instances disadvantage middle-class families compared to the wealthy, were to go into effect, we would lose 3.5 million jobs and maybe have another recession.
The same independent experts.
Dere skulle ikke ha blåst opp, vet du. Dere skulle ikke ha blåst opp denne økonomien så voldsomt, vet du, denne bobla så stor. Hillary og Obama, dere skulle latt disse bankene feile i 2008, men det gjorde dere ikke.
Donald thinks that climate change is a hoax perpetrated by the Chinese. I think it's real.
I did not.
They don't follow it. It's a carbon tax.
And I think it's important that we grip this and deal with it
ting ut
both
av
at home
kontekst
and
igjen.
abroad. And here's what we can do.
Det gjør
We can
alltid det.
deploy 500 million more solar panels. We can have enough clean energy to power
We tried
every
that,
home.
and then it
We can
works too
build a
well.
new modern
So now they're
electric
taxing
grid.
everyone
That's
to put
a
the
lot
solar
of
panels
jobs.
in their
That's a
home.
lot of new economic activity. So I've tried to be very specific about what we can and should do, and I am determined that we're going to get the economy really moving again, building on the progress we've made over the last 8 years, but never going back to what got us in trouble in the first place.
Mr. Trump.
She talks about solar panels.
Ja, nettopp. Dette er bare tull, ikke sant? For hun gir Kina en skikkelig unfair fordel, da. De har jo fordeler som ikke går an å slå, så lenge hun setter sånne betingelser og har sånne vanvittige avtaler med den. Og så bør hun kanskje slutte å selge MERV-teknologi til dem. Du vet, disse rakettene som kommer inn som en og deler seg opp i 20.
From the time they've come in is over 230 years worth of debt, and he's topped it. He's doubled it in a course of almost 8 years, 7.5 years to be semi-exact. So I will tell you this, we have to do a much better job at keeping our jobs, and we have to do a much better job at giving companies incentive to build new companies or to expand, because they're not doing it. And all you have to do is look at Michigan and look at Ohio and look at all of these places where so many of their jobs and their companies are just leaving. They're gone. And Hillary, I just ask you this. You've been doing this for 30 years. Why are you just thinking about these solutions right now? For 30 years you've been doing it, and now you're just starting to think of solutions.
Valgfläsk.
I will bring back jobs. You can't bring back jobs.
Well, actually, I have thought about this quite a bit.
Yeah, for 30
and
years.
I have...
Yeah, your email
not
show
quite
you're
that
talking
long.
to the Chinese president selling us out.
I think my
Yeah,
husband did a
that's
pretty
all.
good job in the 1990s. I think a lot about what
yeah.
worked and how we
Devalue
can
the
make
currency?
it work again.
Well, he
3
approved
million
NAFTA.
new
He
jobs,
approved
a
NAFTA,
balanced budget,
which is the single
and
worst trade deal
incomes-
ever approved in this
Incomes
country.
went up for everybody. Manufacturing jobs went up also in the
Ja,
1990s.
det er ganske lett, det, vet du, når du bare kan trykke så mye penger du vil uten at den er backa av
I had a
gull.
number of trade deals that came before me, and I held them all to the same test. Will they create jobs in America? Will they raise incomes in America?
we get more
And are they
jobs,
good
lady?
for our national security?
Proof's in the
Some
pudding.
of them I voted for. The biggest
so.
one, a multinational one known as CAFTA, I voted against. And because I hold the same standards as I look at all of these trade
Can we
deals.
read the trade agreements? No.
Let's not assume that trade is the only challenge we have in the economy. I think it is a part of it, and I've said what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a special prosecutor. We're going to enforce the trade deals we have, and we're going to hold people accountable. When I was Secretary
national
of
security
State,
laws on your
we
servers,
actually
emails?
increased American exports globally 30%.
We know Obama appointed your
increased them to
prosecutor,
China
Loretta Lynch.
50%.
Sorry.
So I know how to really work to get new jobs and to get exports that help to create more new jobs.
Well, you haven't done
So
it
she'll
in
harass
30
companies
years
she
or
didn't like.
26 years.
Well,
Any number you
I've
want
been
to
a senator,
You haven't
Donald,
done it.
and
You haven't
I
done
have
it.
been a
And excuse
Secretary
me,
of State, and I have
Your
done
husband signed
a lot.
NAFTA, which was one of the worst things that ever happened
Well,
to the
that's your
manufacturing
opinion.
industry.
That is your
You go to New England, you go to Ohio.
Det er ikke hans mening, det, Hillary. Det er et faktum. Og det er også et faktum at du og mannen din, vet du, dere er et sånn slags kriminelt syndikat, ikke sant? Lederne for Dixie-mafiaen heter det, faktisk. Og det er faktum.
Can't win that
Man is
debate,
so truthful.
but you know that
All I
if
do
you
is study
did
this.
win,
The public
you would
doesn't.
approve
This
that.
guy is
That will
incredible.
be almost as bad as NAFTA.
like having Alex
Nothing
Jones
will
as
ever
president.
top NAFTA.
That is just not accurate.
You're a damn liar. I'm sorry.
Ja,
I'm gonna shut up.
nettopp. Løgner. Liar, pants on fire.
I wrote about that in...
You called it the
Bless your
gold
soul, so
standard.
smart. I don't know how your sister
You
listens to
called it
this.
the gold standard of trade
And
deals. You
you know
said it's
what?
the finest deal you've ever seen.
No.
And then you heard what I said about it, and all of a sudden you were against it.
Well,
This is a real
Donald, I
debate.
know you
I'm not
live
going to
in
turn
your
on my mic. I'll turn it off. I'm not
reality,
talking for 20
but that
minutes.
is
Turn it off.
not
This is a real debate.
the facts. The
I'm going to
facts are,
fact
I
check.
did say I hoped it would be a good deal, but when it was negotiated,
Not.
which I was not responsible for, I concluded it wasn't. I wrote about that.
So is it President
in my
Obama's
book
fault? Is it
before
President Obama's
you
fault?
even announced. Look, there
Secretary,
are
is it President Obama's fault?
There are
Because
different-
he's pushing it.
There are different views about what's good for our country, our economy, and our leadership in the world. And I think it's important to look at what we need to do to get the economy.
Obama er jo en diktator. Han tar jo bestemmelser over huet på kongressen og huet på representativenes hus, alt mulig rart.
A book about it. It's called Stronger Together. You can pick it up
That's
tomorrow.
about
No, her plan is more of the same.
Or
She's
at
a
an
Chinese
airport
Asian.
near
Å,
you.
slutt å promotere boka di, ja.
I see this, we need to have strong growth, fair growth, sustained growth. We also have to look at how we help families balance the responsibilities at home and the responsibilities at business. So we have a very
Democrats admit they want to end the
robust set of
family.
plans.
What about that?
And people who've looked at both of our plans have concluded that mine would create 10 million
Mine?
jobs,
The
and
Washington
yours
Post
would
found
lose
that
us
the moon is made of
3.5
cheese.
million jobs and explode
You are
the
going
debt.
to approve one of
which
the biggest
would
tax
have
cuts
a
in
recession.
history. You are going to approve one of the biggest tax increases in history. You are going to drive business out. Your regulations are a disaster, and you're going to increase regulations all over the place.
Yeah.
And by the way,
For det er det
my
samme
tax
som
cut
Obama har
is
gjort.
the biggest since Ronald Reagan. I'm very proud of it. It will create tremendous numbers of new jobs. But regulations, you are going to regulate these businesses
Yeah.
out of existence. When I go around, Lester, I tell you this, I've been all over. And when I go around, despite the tax cut, the things that business as a
Total
people
presidential
like the
material
most
right there.
is the fact that I'm cutting regulation.
Ja.
You have
Hun
regulations on
vil
top of
øke
regulations,
byråkratiet,
and new
han
companies
vil
cannot
forminske det.
form, and old companies are going out of business, and
Desto
you want to
større
increase
det er,
the
desto
regulations
vanskeligere
and
er å
make them even
håndtere
worse.
det.
I'm going to cut regulations, but I'm
Nydelig,
going to
Trump.
cut taxes big league, and you're going to raise taxes big league. End of story.
Let me get you to pause right there because we're going to
Yes,
move into the
well,
we're going to move into the next
Lester,
segment. We're going to talk taxes.
That can't be left
Please,
to
just
stand.
take
You
30
know,
seconds,
I
then we're gonna go
kind
on.
of assumed that there would be a lot of
She
these
wants a 65%
charges and
tax.
claims.
Nå begynner han med dette
taken
igjen.
the homepage of my website, HillaryClinton.com, and we've turned it into
HillaryClinton.bs,
a fact checker.
Infowars.com.
So if you want to see
Oh,
in
she
real
has a
time,
fact checker. Is it
what
Snopes,
the
a fat
facts
lady
are,
with a
please
cat?
go and take a look.
She has a box of cat litter as her fact checker?
Also, and
Not
you'll see.
add a penny to the debt, and your plans would add $5 trillion
This is the woman that got rid of
to the
Glass-Steagall.
debt. What I have proposed would cut regulations and streamline them for small businesses. What I have proposed would be paid for by raising taxes on the wealthy because they have made all the gains in the economy. And
We're
I think
25
it's time
minutes in.
that
Has
the
she had a
wealthy and
seizure yet?
corporations...
Det har veldig lite å si, Hillary, når du bare fortsetter å holde de samme store megabankene flytende og blåser bobla opp, inflasjonsbobla opp enda høyere, og den kommer til å poppe. Dette eneste som kan fikse dette her, en sånn rekonsiliering eller noe slags, og så faktisk hva Trump sier, ja, ikke sant? Og så det at den følger den modellen som har den mest suksessfulle modellen av alle stater i USA. Pence sin stat, det vil si han som Trump
Go to the fact checkers, get to work.
Visepresidenten, altså.
Achieving prosperity. And I want to talk about taxes. The fundamental difference between the two of you concerns the wealthy. Secretary Clinton, you're calling for a tax increase in the wealthiest Americans. I'd like you to further defend that. And Mr. Trump, you're calling for tax cuts for the wealthy. I'd like you to...
Få likviditet, få økonomien i gang, ikke sant? Ved å frigi penger så folk kan investere, de rike kan investere.
And their companies, they're going to do a tremendous job. I'm getting rid of the carried interest provision, and if you really look, it's not a tax, it's really not a great thing for the wealthy, it's a great thing for the middle class, it's a great thing for companies to expand. And when these people are going to put billions and billions of dollars into companies, and when they're going to bring $2.5 trillion back from overseas, when they can't bring the money back because politicians like Secretary Clinton won't allow them to bring the money back because the taxes are so onerous and the bureaucratic red tape. So what is so bad? So what they're doing is they're leaving our country, and they're, believe it or not, leaving because taxes are too high and because some of them have lots of money outside of our country.
Which was done on purpose.
Yeah.
Instead of bringing it back and putting the money to work,
That's global.
Yeah.
work out a deal to, and everybody agrees it should be brought back.
Nobody can
Yeah.
beat us. So they did this.
Leaving
The
our
screws.
country.
Få disse rike til å gjøre, altså Amerika må bli attraktiv å drive business igjen.
Because they can't get together. Because we have a president that can't sit them around a table and get them to approve something. And here's the thing. Republicans and Democrats agree that this should be done. $2.5 trillion. I happen to think it's double that. It's probably $5 trillion that we can't bring into our country, Lester. And with a little leadership, you'd get it in here very quickly, and it could be put to use on the inner cities and lots
Trump
of other
will just
things,
tell you they're
and
out
it
to
would
screw
be
you on
beautiful.
purpose.
But we
It's
have
beyond
no
that.
leadership.
How'd they conquer us, the
Honestly, that
globalists?
starts with
Setting up these
Secretary
deals. They admit it.
All right, you have 2 minutes on the same question to defend
They write books about it.
taxes on the wealthiest Americans,
Ja.
Secretary Clinton.
Det jo et veldig stort problem, da. At kameratene dine, Hillary, driver og skriver bøker om hvordan de skal føre verden inn i en verdensregjering. Det et stort problem.
There's nothing crazy about not letting our companies bring their money back into their country.
This is Secretary Clinton's 2 minutes,
Yes.
please.
Yeah, well, let's start the clock again, Lester. We've looked at your
Du så
tax
morsom,
proposals.
liksom.
I don't see
Ja.
changes in corporate
Alt
tax
bare en
rates.
spøk, ikke sant? Hele verden står på spill her nå.
Referring to that would cause the repatriation, bringing back of money that's stranded overseas. I happen to
Then you didn't
support
read
that.
it.
I happen to support that in a way that will actually work to our benefit. But when I look at what you have proposed, you have what is called now the Trump loophole, because it would so advantage you and the business you do. You've proposed
Who gave it that
an
name?
approach
First
that
ever. Who
has
gave
a
it that name?
$4
This is
billion
Secretary Clinton's
tax
minutes.
benefit
Ja,
for
og dette kjedelig å høre på, for vet du hva, Hillary? Uansett, dette her Trump-loophole, kall det hva du vil, dette her bare en metode hvor du får pengene i en altså i økonomien i USA til å flyte igjen, ikke sant? Det bevegelse av penger som betyr noe her, ikke sant? Og en optimisme i atmosfæren, og den optimismen kommer ikke du til å bringe, altså, tro meg.
Creating globalism to exempt themselves.
I think
Period.
building the middle
Trump's
class,
trying to break
investing
that.
in the middle class.
Period. Briefly
Bingo.
tonight.
College
You want
debt
to jump in
free
during
so
this
more young
lying
people
harpy?
can get
And
their
again, folks, if you want
education.
coverage without us
Helping
talking
people
over it, we're giving
refinance
limited
their
analysis, that's fine.
tax
Everybody
their
else has it,
debt
but we're
for
here
college at a
talking
lower
over this
rate.
damn liar.
Those are the kinds
Doing
of things that
fact-checking
will
live. David
really
Knight,
boost
briefly.
the economy. Broad-based, inclusive inclusive growth is what we need in America, not more advantages for people at the very top.
Ok, ikke det nå. Så du skal ikke frigjøre og få investert de som har muligheten til å gjøre det, da? Det fører til stagnering, det.
Our country is suffering because people like Secretary Clinton have made such bad decisions in terms of our jobs and in terms of what's going on. Now look, we have the worst.
Og så unntar de seg selv, det er greit nok det, vet du. Men ikke når de har tenkt til å føre verden inn i et system, ikke sant? Dette her er megabankene som prater for hun der Hillary. Nettopp, som jeg sa for litt siden. Ja, bingo, nå kommer det her. Yes!
The day Obama goes off and he leaves and he goes out to the golf course for the rest of his life to play golf. When they raise interest rates, you're going to see some very bad things happen because the Fed is not doing their job. The Fed is being more political than Secretary Clinton.
Det er jo der makten ligger, for de trykker jo penger ut av løse lufta. Han er ikke gullbacka lenger. Det har de forandret for lenge siden, ikke sant? Når de møttes på Jekyll Island og innførte den Federal Reserve Act i 1913, eller når det var. Monstre på Jekyll Island, kaller de det, faktisk.
And it'll be released, and as soon as the audit's finished, it'll be released. But you will learn more about Donald Trump by going down to the federal elections, where I filed a 104-page essentially financial statement of sorts, the forms that they have. It shows income. In fact, the income, I just looked today, the income is filed at $694 million for this past year. $694 million. If you would have told me I was going to make that 15 or 20 years ago, I would have been very surprised. But that's the kind of thinking that our country needs. When we have a country that's doing so badly, that's being ripped off by every single country in the world, it's the kind of thinking that our country needs because everybody, Lester, we have a trade deficit with all
Hillary represents the Chinese president in WikiLeaks. Arrest her. $1 billion a year.
Yeah.
You know what she has secret bank accounts everywhere. They admit it.
We have people that are political hacks.
Clinton Foundation.
The IRS has an audit of your taxes. You're perfectly free to release your taxes during the audit. So the question, does the public's right to know outweigh your personal...
Well, I told you, I will release them as soon as the audit. Look, I've been under audit almost for 15 years. I know a lot of wealthy people that have never been audited. I said, do you get audited? I get audited almost every year. And in a way, I should be complaining. I'm not even complaining. I don't mind it. It's almost
just say Hillary won't release her foundation crap.
But other people do.
But isn't this a red herring pop?
Absolutely,
Alex. You know, he's got
hva med Clinton Foundation, da, som har så mye skjeletter i skapet at hvis du åpner for en kirke, så finner du ikke skjeletter, men kirkegårder.
And of course, Hillary has had people like Mr. Comey, FBI director, and Loretta Lynch, their law firm, were the ones who did her taxes in the past. And they would do taxes of politicians to make sure that they've got a large amount of money. Mainline News admits she has the most mafia taxes ever. With secret bank accounts that won't even list the money. That's right. And she says, I list the donors. I'm going to come back to you, but you've got live analysis. But let's go back to this.
But I would go against them if she releases her email.
So it's negotiable?
It's not negotiable. No, let her release the email. Why did
it's not fair.
33,000?
She won't release stuff, but he's supposed to.
Admonish the audience one more time. There was an agreement. We did ask you to be silent, so it would be helpful for us. Secretary Clinton.
Well, I think you've just seen another example of bait and switch here.
Motsatt.
Accounts all over the world, lady, and the media won't make an issue.
You can go and see nearly, I think, 39, 40 years of our tax returns.
But Donald Trump, that never gets any tax money, has to bow down to a pig like you.
Prohibition on releasing.
That's the key thing, Alex. They want to say, look, fade her down. This is our analysis. If folks don't like it, it's fine. Go to another feed. We're here giving analysis. Go ahead, David. They want to say, look, he paid a very low percentage. I paid a very high percentage. But as you pointed out, she's laundering her money through the Clinton Foundation and other things which she does not want to have audited, which she does not want to make transparent. So she continues to try to hammer him and say, you're not being transparent with your tax returns. She simply wants to muddy the water. If there's a criminal issue, they would come after him. But what she also wants to do is to demagogue this thing.
It's just like he said, I'll release my medical records when she will, and she never will, so he released his. Great point, David.
Jeg stopper denne her nå, laster opp denne her, og så fortsetter jeg. For at det som er viktig her, er å forstå akkurat det han sa der, er at de bruker bare reversert psykologi, stråmennangrep, ikke sant? Og hun står for akkurat den samme politikken som har ført USA inn i dette uføre. Punktum. Så enkelt er det, altså.
Having the rest of our country see
da dette første segmentet på en halvtime slutt, og så kommer nytt snart nå da, med et par minutters forsinkelse. Dessverre for det, men sånn er det bare. Ok, hei så lenge.